What is up, guys? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. So, a while back, someone asked me to do a flip through of my finished Sketchbook Slam challenge book thing. So here I have my halfway finished Sketchbook Slam challenge book. I never really finished it, but I figured I might as well just have a look through it and I don't know, just show you what I did and talk about it a little more. For those of you who didn't watch my last video on the challenge, TLDR, I said that this challenge could be helpful, but only if used in an efficient way, which I felt that some other people that I saw, some YouTubers, were not doing as well, which I felt was kind of frustrating. My opinions have changed a little with time since it's been over a year since this challenge was started, so I'd like to touch on a few things that have changed my mindset about this challenge. So basically, you're supposed to fill up this enormous sketchbook, which is 600 pages. I'm counting the front and the back. It's 600 pages total, and you have to finish it in 30 days, so that's 20 pages a day, which is kind of insane. And the timing of this challenge was a bit unfortunate because it was like in September or August-ish, and that was the beginning of most people's school semesters, which kind of poses the first problem I had, which was the amount of time that it takes to get through this sketchbook. And obviously people who are working or going to school will not have the time to fill up around 20 pages a day, even if they have the weekends off to work on it. It kind of sucks up like all of your free time. My original workaround for this was to practice gestural drawings and do studies. I was for a while in the beginning, I was doing studies from this anatomy book by Bridgman. I forget what the name was. I will leave a link to it in the description below. I think I mentioned it in my first video when I was drawing it. Oh god, those skulls look really bad. Yeah, after I basically finished studying Bridgman, I did other figure studies, which, you know, they didn't take a long time. They were like 1 minute studies. So obviously, if you're doing 20 pages a day, that's 20 minutes. So like 20 to 30 minutes out of your day, and that, oh my god. It's like so bad. Anyway, so if you just did those, that wouldn't be so bad, but it does get kind of monotonous, and I was trying to use the real estate of the page because it's like bigger than an 8 by 11 regular piece of paper. It's like 12 by 15 or something, which is pretty big as sketchbooks go, and I was using it like it's for figure drawing, which in my figure drawing class we draw on like 18 by 24 inches of paper dimensions for that, so it was easy to translate that larger scale onto this larger sketchbook. But like, as I do with most challenges, I kind of lost steam in the middle. So I put myself in full force in the first few days, and I was like, okay, I'm going to do these studies and I'm going to improve. And after a little while, I got burnt out by the middle of it because I was not enjoying doing the studies enough. It was kind of just like working through the motions, and I wasn't really learning a lot out of it. So I only managed to finish about 300 pages of it in the span of the month or so that I worked on it. And then I worked on it for a little while after that, but yeah, I never really got back into it because it just didn't seem worth it to me to continue doing this thing that I didn't want to do anymore. And that might seem a little lazy of me, but I'm going to give my reasoning for that. So I feel like if you force yourself to do something for the sake of doing it, especially art, you're not going to like what you make, and it's not going to help you improve because you're not taking in what you're drawing. Like I said before, you're kind of just going through the motions. And I have some opinions about the creation and the creator of this challenge. After watching a few of her videos, Holly Brown, and seeing other people's opinions about her, I think that I understand a little more where she was coming from with this challenge, because I also fall into this sort of way of thinking where I think, oh, I've procrastinated too much. I need to work to catch up to where I should be at this point. I feel like that kind of behavior is really prevalent in this certain type of creative people. Oops, sorry, that was a Discord message. I don't know if you heard that, but yeah, that kind of thinking is really common, but it only leads to a lot of burnout, and then you're caught in this cycle of burning out and not creating, and then feeling bad about it, and then pushing yourself past the limit to make up for that burnout, and then getting burnt out again, and it just keeps going. So I'm trying to be better at managing my time and not do that sort of thing, but it is so hard to get out of it. And like, I feel like routine is just so boring, but it feels like it's the best way to efficiently do something, and I really want to get my life in gear, I feel. So I guess I just gotta suck up and just do it. Another thing that I felt that, I don't know, I didn't really like about this challenge was that there was a sense of one-upmanship both within the creation of this challenge and within the people participating in it. And that's not uncommon in challenges, because it's sort of like a friendly little competition with artists that you admire, and everyone is just learning from everyone else and getting inspiration. And I feel like these art challenges are pretty nice little trends to do, and usually they're pretty fun, but this one was like the entire setup of it was sort of a reaction to other challenges that the creator didn't really perceive to be challenging, you know, like the 3 marker challenge, that was trending for a while back, and I can't really think of anything. Other things like the, I guess analogous to that would be the draw this in your style hashtag, which was trending on Instagram and Twitter for a while, which was pretty fun actually. It's really cool, and I got to see a lot of new artists to follow, which was nice. It kind of like circulates and creates a little buzz for the art economy. But yeah, the entire creation of this challenge was based on a sort of one-upmanship to other challenges, and to be like, oh, this is the challenge to end all challenges, you know? This is the most challenging challenge I've ever that's ever challenged me. But in a way that kind of just sucked all of the fun out of it, I feel. And I think that's what's been bugging me about it. Like, from the very beginning, it had a very, I don't want to say negative, but it had this air about it that it was going to be very daunting, and I think people weren't having fun with it. Like, it's not like because it's a very unusual and strenuous activity to suddenly be doing. It's not like Inktober, because with Inktober you're kind of doing things you normally do, which is drawing and creating illustrations, but at a much faster pace than you normally would. But with this challenge, I feel like it's completely different from normal sketchbooking. You know, there's only so much studying you can do before you get super bored with it, and it becomes very monotonous. And because with a regular sketchbook, you're only doing like a few detailed sketches a day maybe, and I feel like a lot of people sketch really tiny, but this sketchbook is just really big, and a lot of people don't know how to tackle that, and so that also brings a different challenge along with it. And I'm sorry, some of the sketches in the latter half of this video do not show up very well because they are so light, because I was using a mechanical pencil instead of a regular pencil, so I'm sorry about that. I'm just too lazy to move my camera around. I think so many YouTubers and people who are doing this challenge were feeling burnt out and disliked it. I followed people like Bailey J, Casey Golden, and a few others, including the creator Holly Brown, through their videos on how they completed their sketchbook slam challenges. So kudos to them, because they did better than me. But I feel like they all kind of approached it as if it were a sort of, it was just like a grind, you know? It was just a lot of work. I think my opinion has changed now that the quantity of this challenge is not as effective, because it sacrifices a lot of the quality that goes into your thinking. You're constantly thinking like, oh no, I still have 10 more pages or 5 more pages to do, but it's already 11 p.m. It's already midnight. Should I go to sleep or should I keep going? And if you keep pushing yourself to just work faster, you're just going to rush and not put as much mindfulness into your art. At least that was the case for me as I reached the end of this challenge. There's a phenomenon where those who do art for a living usually get creative burnout because they're also doing their work, which is art, as their hobby or wind down activity. And so you end up with this blurring between the lines between your actual working time and your leisure time, and you end up working overtime with usually very little to show for it. And that's what this challenge sort of reminded me of, because what little time of day you have for leisure, you're just gonna end up spending it with this giant sketchbook, and you're not gonna let your mind shut down and rest from a day of work. It's important to have other hobbies to do, like watching a show or watching sports or doing a puzzle, going for walks, playing video games, even something that doesn't take creative mind power. Just you give your mind a change of pace. I feel like that's a very good thing, and I feel like this challenge doesn't really allow you to do that sort of thing because you're constantly thinking of what to put into your sketchbook. So TLDR, I would not recommend doing this challenge as is. I think if I were to do it again, I would definitely modify it to maybe a yearly challenge with 600 pages. I think that's about 1 to 2 pages a day, maybe 2 pages on the weekends where you have more time. And how I would do it would be maybe in the morning or before you start your day or just before your artistic session. You use that page or pages to their fullest extent with things like studies and ideas for what you want to make that day. You could create mood boards or little character studies. This way I feel like there's less pressure to just spread out all your artwork on such a massive scale and just get in the habit of sketching, which I feel is what a sketchbook should be for. And then when the year ends, you have a little memento for all of your efforts. You can put in your office or your coffee table to display. I think that'd be really cute. So thank you for watching this incredibly long video, I feel. Yeah, that was my sketchbook slam book. I don't know what I'm gonna be doing with the rest of these pages, but maybe I'll continue it. Maybe I'll do the thing that I just talked about. So yeah, if you like this video, please thumbs it up or comment. If you did the sketchbook slam challenge, please let me know how you did. Let me know what you think about it. Do you think that it was good? Do you agree with my opinions? Do you disagree? Let me know. Okay, thank you for watching. Goodbye. I'll see you in the next video.